She get money. Her body T. She's super thick. She's super pretty.
One look, give him whiplash, period! Hey, y'all! How are we doing today? Hi, Sam. Hi, CMB. Hi, V. Hi, anybody else who's happening to be in chat right now? Hello. Today I'm going to be doing a quick little cute little presentation about the Pretty Pink Badge Quest with the Girlypop twist. Hi now, Nick Stars. Thank you for hello. I was gonna say thank you for checking in, but you didn't check in yet, and that's okay. Don't forget to check in though if you haven't checked in yet. We're gonna be doing our presentation. What was I calling it? The Pretty Pink presentation for the Pretty Pink Badge Quest with a Girlypop twist. Let's get into it. Sick to my stomach. I swear I unmuted myself. I swear I said hello to Nyaunix and then I started getting into it, girl. Let's go back. Let's go back. It's always something going on up in here. That was me. That was all me. That was all me. Anyway, well, that was great practice. That was great practice. Hello, everyone. I hope that you're all doing very well. We are going to get started with the Pretty Pink presentation now that I've given myself a little bit after well, you know what actually happened, Nix? As soon as you did the redeem, I unmuted, I popped into the stream, I said hello, and I started doing the presentation and I was muted. I don't know how I was muted because I swear that I unmuted. So like always something going on up in here, for real. Anyway, hello. So we're gonna start our Pretty Pink presentation about the Pretty Pink Badge Quest with the Girlypop twist in Pokemon Violet by PrettyPinkPresentation. Let's get into it. I do not know why that... Actually, I do know why. I'm sorry, the alerts need to be off right now because... hold on. The alerts need to be off right now because they're not on this page. So I'm gonna refund you for that, Nix. All right, let's get into it. Thank you. I will try to stay hydrated. Okay, let's get into it. So what is a badge quest? In the Pokemon gaming community, a badge quest is a playthrough that challenges the player, similarly to a Nuzlocke. Unlike a Nuzlocke, the main rule or stipulation here is focused on capturing shiny Pokemon prior to obtaining gym badges, not simply capturing Pokemon at certain times or even in certain places. In a similar fashion to the Nuzlocke, it's standard in a badge quest to use only the Pokemon involved in the Pokemon playthrough, meaning that the entire team must always be made up of shiny Pokemon. It wouldn't be out of the question for many players who attempt this type of challenge to soft reset for a starter before starting their journey, or also soft resetting for a legend at the end to finish out the real challenge of the playthrough. These things are not possible in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. How is it a Pretty Pink badge quest? Pretty Pink Palmy calls everything she does a Pretty Pink anything for branding and also for fun, because it's not really a party if it's not a Pretty Pink party, period. With that being said, there is no true meaning to this playthrough being called Pretty Pink other than to specify that it is Pretty Pink Palmy running the show. In the future, maybe a method of Pokemon playthrough will come about from my Pokemon gaming, but that is not my focus, and I don't see it becoming the focus of my content almost ever. Never say never, though. Pretty Pink Party. What is the Girlypop aspect? The concept of a Girlypop lock, a type of Pokemon playthrough originated by the popular content creator Fawn, is something that has been on my mind for a long time. The basic premise is that the Pokemon caught and used in the Girlypop lock are ones that represent a desire for aesthetic enjoyment over critical strategy that may result in a strategic success to the game at hand. The focus is on aesthetics. As Fawn has executed multiple of these playthroughs on his own Twitch channel, he has inspired many other creators to attempt such a challenge. In his own playthroughs, Fawn has had his Twitch audience decide which Pokemon deserve safety before a gym, and which Pokemon need to return to the box after a gym challenge. He uses a voting system. I would like to implement that voting system in this playthrough when we have people who are willing to actually participate. I wanted to restart my badge quest in Pokemon Violet since I had put it down for so long. I also debated doing a Girlypop lock for a while, ultimately deciding to honor both desires with this playthrough here. Originally, the shiny badge quest was going to be for Pokemon Shield, and this was going to be a while ago. When I first did my Pokemon badge quest on TikTok, I was going to do Pokemon Shield. I decided to do it for Pokemon Violet because it was going to be easier to do the shiny hunting, and also it was going to be easier to document. But I also wanted to finish out Generation 9 with a bang, so that's why I'm doing this now. The Girlypop twist on the PrettyPinkBadgeQuest is that while I am following the rules of the badge quest, I am going to set up a path, and I'm going to set up a path when it comes to what Pokemon I catch before each badge. I am allowing my audience, you people who are listening to this now, whether you're watching this on a VOD or whether you're watching this on the stream, hello, I'm allowing you to vote on who gets to stay and who gets to go in the same fashion as Fawn does in his Girlypop locks. The choices of the community do not have to be strategic in any capacity, as the responsibility is left up to me. I will be choosing to utilize what has been referred to as the producer safety to retain at least some insurance as we move through the game and its following DLCs. And here are the rules for my Pretty Pink Badge Quest. By doing the badge quest with the Girlypop twist, I dedicate myself to carry out the following. I am going to be catching a shiny Pokemon before each gym battle, Titan Pokemon battle, and Team Star Challenge in Paldea. That's 18, and that does not include the Elite Four. That does not include some of these other moments, but also those are part of this as well. If I choose to continue on to the DLC, I will catch a shiny Pokemon prior to every major battle in Kitakami, and also before reaching each signpost as a part of the treasure hunt. With that being said, each boss-style battle is also part of the challenge of Kitakami, including the encounter with Ogerpon. This does not include the encounter with Blood Moon Ursaluna. If I choose to continue to the Blueberry Academy, I will catch a shiny Pokemon for every Elite Four member of the Blueberry Academy and the champion. I will also consider the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero quest to be part of this. If I choose to move on to Mochi Mayhem, after the events of Blueberry Academy, then I may continue the challenge in this area, but it is not likely something that will be much of a challenge at this point, because I'm going to have Herba Mystica after I finish the challenge in Paldea. So it's possible that I'm going to do it, and I'm prepared to do it if I want to do it, but I'm not necessarily committed to the idea. We'll have to talk about it when we get there, because this is going to be kind of a long challenge, because Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is a long game, but I really enjoy it, and I want to end it with the bang. You know what I mean? A boom. Hi, damsel. The second rule, I will only be using shiny Pokemon in the playthrough, with the only viable exceptions being the necessary shiny locked Pokemon. I am starting off with a transferred in shiny team, and where was I? Girl, I'm starting off with a transferred in shiny team since it's festive, and also there are a lot of Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, like I said. This aspect is very straightforward. The reason why I'm saying there's a lot of Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet is because the games that have like 400 plus Pokemon in the regional Pokédex is only Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield. That's it. The other games have much less. Normally they have a lot less than that. And those regions are not necessarily considered to be larger in any capacity either. They just have a lot of Pokemon. This is true for this region as well. I will be trying to focus on the Pokédex when I am not necessarily streaming the game, but that's not going to be an intention of this playthrough. So like I will be doing the Pokédex most likely, but I will not be showing you me doing the Pokédex. I'm going to be showing you the shiny hunting. I'm going to be showing you the gym battles, the Team Star battles, the Titan battles, etc. If I find random shiny Pokemon, that's fair game. Statistically speaking, it's likely that there will be random shinies. I personally believe in the phrase "no shiny left behind." So even if I do see a shiny Pokemon, if it's in my ability to capture it when I see it, then I'm going to try and take it with me. Period. In the event that I find a duplicate of any Pokemon previously in my roster, I will be exchanging said Pokemon with another transferred shiny of a similar level from my amassed collection in Pokemon Scarlet. This is also statistically likely since the Pokemon chosen for the Pretty Pink Badge Quest path were chosen due to their relevance in the generation. And here's the starting team for the Pretty Pink Badge Quest. We have Delta, the Quaxley. I named it Delta because of the river Delta. You know, it's a very simple thing. There are actually multiple river deltas in Paldea. I thought it was somewhat festive. Also, I just wanted it to be cute and, like, you know, memorable. Not too much, not too much, you know. I named the Pretty Pink Pwami Luca because he's the star of the show. We have Sweetie Pie, who is our female Lechonk. I caught all these Pokemon on stream at one point or another. Um, we have a Sweetie Pie. Actually, the reference to Sweetie Pie is the, what is it called? It's not the genus. I think it's the family. Like the Latin term for the family of pigs is called Suidae. So I was just like Sweetie Pie because it's cute and easy, right? We have Mantra, whose name also comes from the nomenclature of um olives. Anyway, that's my Smoliv, female Smoliv. We have Tamari, who is my little baby Tink, one of my faves. I'm so excited to have her on the team. And then we have Chanel number 5, Hoppip. Honestly, when it comes to Tamari and when it comes to Chanel number 5, I thought it was kind of cute and funny to be like, her name is Tamari, because my other, in my previous badge quest that I was attempting in Pokemon Violet prior to starting this one, I had a Tinkatink. Her name was Ten. So I thought it was cute to have her name be Tamari. That's why I named her that. And when it comes to Chanel number 5, there really is no rhyme or reason. Originally, I was going to name Sweetie Pie Chanel number 5, but Sweetie Pie had 2 really good names, and I thought Sweetie Pie was kind of cuter, to be honest. And so that leads me to, here are the shiny hunts for the Pretty Pink Badge Quest with the Girlypop twist in order in Paldea. So I already have a set path that I'm going to be following when it comes down to the gym challenges that I'm going to be doing, the Team Star bosses that I'm going to be dealing with, and also the Titan Pokemon that I'm going to be dealing with. And before I do any of those things to attempt to receive a badge, I'm going to be searching for each individual Pokemon. On this list, all of these Pokemon have been chosen due to their relevance in the generation, or possibly even their relevance to the game. So we have, in order, Tarantula, what is that thing called? Fido, Flittle, Nimble, Paldean Wooper, which is, you know, the reason why Paldean Wooper got put on the list is because of its Paldean regional variant. We have Wattrel. We have Cyclizar, Toadschool, which is relevant because of its convergent, whatever it's called. I don't remember what those are called. If somebody knows, put it in the chat. We have Capsicid, Knackley, you know, and the list goes on. Shroodle, all these Pokemon, majority of these Pokemon are new to the region. Some of these Pokemon I have a very extensive collection of shiny Pokemon specifically that I caught in Scarlet and Violet, and I don't have all these Pokemon. Some of the ones that I don't have would include, but are not limited to, Veluza. And that might be it. There's a few more. An Ice-Q is at the end, but Ice-Q is going to lead us right into the story in Kitakami. In Kitakami, you know, there are not a lot of new Pokemon that are going to be introduced. But there are some interesting Pokemon. I also did include some Pokemon that are specific to the Pokemon Violet experience of Kitakami, including Apom and what is that thing called? I've been doing so much stuff, girl. I'm like out of it. The Pika clone. What is it called? The cute one that gets angry? Oh, she is sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, oh my, oh my. I don't remember what it's called. If you know what it's called, let me know. That's not Togedemaru. Togedemaru is the steel type one. Hydrating. Anyway, we also have Basculin on here. Morpeko, yes, Morpeko. One of the very few rare to find shinies on this list that is not a pure first stage in the evolution cycle would be Poliwhirl. I think that's the only Pokemon on this entire list that is not solely first stage in its evolutionary line out of all these Pokemon that I'm going to be going for. It's Poliwhirl specifically. And then here are the shiny hunts for the Pretty Pink Badge Quest with a Girlypop twist in order for Blueberry Academy and Mochi Madness if I choose to do it. We have Esper, Magby, Skarmory. The list goes on. You can see the icons here. Pause to read. If you really want to see it, I can either post this in the Discord later if that's what y'all really want, or y'all can go back and watch this on YouTube. And the winner for the name guessing contest that I was holding in the Discord is, and when I show y'all this, make sure y'all go to the Discord and let this person know if they're not already here. Comet Core with only 2 out of 6 names correct on all of, and I only got like maybe 5 attempts at the guessing game, and I understand that the guessing game was complex because I didn't give you any hints. In the future, if I were going to do something like that, I think I should give you hints, but Comet is going to be allowed to name one of the Pokemon in the playthrough whenever they want to. This is going to be when I actually capture the Pokemon, so Comet's gonna have to be here for that to happen, right? But we'll talk about it when we get there. Thank you all so much for enjoying this Pretty Pink presentation. Any questions? Now it's time for questions, thoughts, concerns, feelings. Cute, 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 cute. Can I have a cookie? I don't have a cookie to give you. Actually, I do have some cookies in my house right now. We have chocolate chip cookies from Christmas, but we're not going to be distributing cookies today. I'm sorry. If you want to go get a cookie from your own kitchen, now is the time. All right. And that is my presentation on the Pretty Pink Badge Quest with the Girlypop twist, starting a week from today, January 3rd, 2025. And moving forward, it's going to be every Friday. I'm going to be trying to attempt this. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to have it set up because I know in the past that when I was trying to go for these shiny Pokemon full odds that it was a long stream. And I know that it's a lot of energy. So I'm probably going to figure that out with the schedule, and I will announce that in the Discord when I do figure out what we're going to be doing. With that being said, that's all I have for the Pretty Pink presentation. Now let's move on to the tier list. I was telling myself, you know, when I like, you know, when you're in school and you're like, you know, you have to do like a presentation, and they're like, you have to get ready to deal with your like public speaking skills or whatever, and like you think to your head, I'm never gonna utilize this. I'm never gonna do this. I'm never gonna do this. I'm utilizing it now. All right, here we go. Are y'all ready? Let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right. So the categories that we have, if you can see them, we have she get money, her body. It should say her body T. It only says her body. She get money, her body T. We have she a baddie, she showing her panty. We have a bat. We have she a baddie with her buddy friend. We have she ain't everything, and then we have the locals category. Now, with the she get money, her body T, the Pokemon that go into this category are oftentimes Pokemon that have really good designs. They have really good builds. They're set up when it comes to their move sets and their stats and their usability within the region, within the game franchise, etc. They have a great reputation, and I love to see them. She about it, she's showing her panty. Normally it's like one of these aspects might be off, maybe a few aspects might be off, but it's a really good Pokemon overall still. It's just not at the S tier like you would like to see if you were going to give it an S tier in the first place. With Shiabati, we're her buddy friend, a lot of times these Pokemon are great to have on your team, but they're not going to be the mainstays in your team. She ain't everything means exactly what it is. She ain't everything. It's lacking a lot of qualities that make it a great Pokemon. And then the locals, oftentimes these Pokemon are the Pokemon that are overused, oversaturated. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it. So let's get into it. We already are starting off the bat with strong with a local energy. We have Paldean Tauros. Now, I like Paldean Tauros in theory, but Paldean Tauros is just about as bad as regular Tauros. And then you put it into a 3D setting and it chases you every time it sees you. And they put them out there in groups. Where you find Paldean Tauros, you always find it in groups, wherever it is that you can find it in the wild. That's annoying to me, so it's already a local. Now, I will say that I do like the concept of these variants of the Paldean Tauros. We have the water type variant and we have the fire type variant. I don't know exactly what the names or the terms are for them specifically off the top of my head, but I do enjoy them, so I put them with Shiabati with her buddy friend. They're fine to me. They could be better. Not the top of the list. You know what I mean? We have Paldean Wooper, a real cutie, a real cutie. She a baddie with her baddie friend. I like a Paldean Wooper. Paldean Wooper is actually a really unique typing here in this generation. I don't know, I believe it's a unique typing period, but it's very useful. It's more useful when it evolves, but it's very useful and it's great to have on a team. It's just very short-lived when you have one and you're leveling it up and you evolve your Pokemon naturally. Sprigatito. She a baddie, she's showing her panty. Easily. I love me a little bit of Sprigatito. I wish the moveset was a little bit better. I wish the concept for it was a little bit better, but overall, especially for a starter, it's cute. Florigato, same energy. I really like to see a little bit of Florigato. I wish for Florigato its stats were set up a little bit differently, because I feel like when I've utilized Florigato in the past, that it just hasn't always stepped up to the bat. It hasn't always stepped up to the plate when it comes to being able to stand strong in a battle. It's strong, but it doesn't have a lot of the defenses that it needs to be strong enough to be a starter Pokemon in that way. Now, Meowscarada, she get money, her body T. It's giving concept, it's giving moment, it's giving energy. It's right off the bat, great Pokemon, interesting typing, great move set, unique, useful, powerful, dynamic. People will build a whole personality off of this one Pokemon. Hi Comet, you won the guessing game. You get to name a Pokemon in the future. We'll talk about it. Fuecoco, she a baddie with her baddie friend. I like Fuecoco. She don't really stand very strong to me. I think out of Fuecoco's evolutionary line, Fuecoco has the most interesting design. However, when it comes to its evolutions, not my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. I will say that the middle evolution is just ugly. It's butt ugly to me, and I hate it. I like the idea of a lot of these starter Pokemon having like an awkward phase when they get into their middle evolution. I hate to see it when it's genuinely ugly. And Fuecoco's evolution, which I cannot remember the name of for some reason, is just genuinely ugly to me. And I think it's more because of its coloration and also because of its general demeanor than necessarily its design. I like the concept of it. I don't like to see it. You know what I mean? Now, oh, it's Crocolore. And then with Skeledirge, I like to see a Skeledirge. I love Skeledirge. Skeledirge has a, I genuinely like Skeledirge moveset, and I like the concept of Skeledirge, but the visual of Skeledirge is so unappealing for so many reasons, it cannot go any higher than a B tier for me. I like it. I even like the shiny. I just don't like it. Like, especially because, like, you know, it looks like it's, you know, it looks, you know what it looks like to me a little bit? It kind of looks like the female Titan in Attack on Titan, where it's just all you can see is her physical musculature underneath her skin. That's what Skeledirge is giving, and I hate to see it. Honestly, I hate to see it. It freaks me out a little bit. Maybe if it was a different color, I would have a different feeling about it. I feel like it was a little bit too on the nose with the red anyway. Quaxley. I like Quaxley. She a baddie. Actually, you know what? No. Quaxley is she a baddie. She's showing her panty. It has a good design. It's well, you know, it has good moves normally. It's cutesy. It's giving good concept. It makes sense. Quaxley is actually a Pokemon. There are already a few Pokemon that we've already talked about, and there's plenty of Pokemon in here that actually tie into the theme of the Iberian Peninsula. Quaxley is one of those Pokemon. But if you want to know more about that, do your own research, girl. Open up the schools. What is this thing called? Quaxley's Evolution. I like Quaxley's Evolution. The design is not the best to me, to be honest. It's lacking something for me personally. I like the idea of it. But it's not my favorite, honestly. I remember when I had one in my first Scarlet playthrough, I genuinely enjoyed having it. It was enjoyable. It was like a great asset to my team, and I loved how it would run around with me and stuff, but I never really used my Quaxley when I had it because I didn't care for it. Like, it just wasn't like, all my other Pokemon were getting super strong, and then Quaxley was just kind of holding me back. You know what I mean? Now, I feel the same way about Meowscarada that I do about Quaquaval. Quaquaval is a great Pokemon. I love to see it. It's giving concept, it's giving energy, it's giving illusion, it's giving everything that we need to see in a Pokemon. I've talked about this when we did the starter tier list. I really genuinely enjoy this Pokemon, and in this context specifically, I really love to see it. Lechonk, she a baddie with her baddie friend. I really enjoy Lechonk, but Lechonk as itself, as an individual Pokemon, does not have a lot of singular strength. However, I really like its design, and it's another Pokemon that really ties in. Lechonk is based off of the Iberian pig, which is a breed. I think it's Iberian hog actually, but it's a breed of pig, domesticated pig, that you can find on the Iberian Peninsula in all of the countries, I believe. Now, when it comes to this, for some reason, it split them up. We have the female Oinkologne here. I really like a female Oinkologne. Actually, I like female Oinkologne better than I like male Oinkologne. Is that right? I think I got it mixed up. Girl, I don't fucking know. Anyway, honestly, both the Oinkolones are divas in their own sense. I really like them. The Oinkolones are based off of truffle pigs. And it used to be theorized that truffle pigs were attracted to the truffle mushrooms because of some kind of like chemical compound that was in the truffle mushrooms that you can also put in, that was also part of a pheromone that you can find specifically in the male pigs. That has actually been debunked, but it's interesting that Pokemon knew enough about that to want to implement that in a Pokemon concept. Not because they didn't have access to the information or anything like that, but more because it's like, how are you going to tie that into like a, you know, imaginary animal and also make it cutesy and also give it like a theme? That's crazy to me. Tarantula, I'm going to be honest. I like Tarantula as a Pokemon. She ain't everything. And Spidops is the same energy. She a baddie with her baddie friend. I don't like to see Spidops all the time. Spidops is going to jump you when it sees you in the street, girl. Spidops is that person that starts following you home. It's almost giving kind of like, you know what? I like Tarantula in theory. I like Tarantula. I think it's cutesy, but we just don't see enough of it for it to be the regional bug. Um, which I also similarly feel about Nimble, but I like Nimble more, but we'll get into that. Spidops is that guy that you met at the club when you were out clubbing with your girls, and then you decided that you were gonna walk home because you wanted to walk off your inebriation. Spidops is the guy who's following you, and then he walks up to you when you're like standing at a stoplight waiting for it to change, and you're scared for your life, and he walks up and he's like, "I'm just a nice guy. I just wanted to make sure that you got home all right." And it's like, you're the threat, dude. Like, that's what Spidops is giving to me. Nimble, I like Nimble. I like me a little bit of Nimble. She a baddie with her baddie friend. I really like the shiny. Actually, shiny Nimble was one of the first shinies that I found full odds ever. I think it was like the third shiny. He walks out with his phone out in his hand, ready to ask for your number. Exactly. I'm just a nice guy. I'm just a nice guy. Low kicks can kick rocks. It's giving low kicks is a local, period. No thoughts. Kwame, what do y'all think that I'm gonna rate Pommy? Honestly, what do y'all think that I'm gonna rate Pommy? Right. Well, nobody said anything. But Pommy is a baddie. She's showing her panty. Well, yes. Local. Oh. Now, okay, girl, if I didn't like the shiny variant, and if I did not genuinely enjoy having having Pommy on my team, Pommy does have local energy because you can find Pommy almost anywhere in Paldea. And if you can't find a Pommy, you will find a Pommo. So I totally, honestly would agree with the energy of it being a local, because that's part of what makes a Pokemon a local, is that you find it all over the place and it just gets on your nerves to see it. Which is part of the reason why Lokix is there. Pomo. I like Pomo. I like Pomo in a similar energy that I like Pommy. Pomot. I like Pomo a little bit more, to be honest. I had one on my original team in Pokemon Scarlet. I loved it. I love the typing. I think it's a unique typing, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's an interesting Pokemon overall. I also think it's interesting because actually, to talk about it, Pommy, Pomma, and Pommy, Pomo, and Pomot are actually based off of Marmots, and Marmots have actually been reintroduced to certain areas that they were actually extinct from in certain times. Marmots are actually very much affected by climate change, global climate change, because of the fact that they are very susceptible to heat. I think the evolutionary line needed some more spice, but Pommy is the best in the lineup. I agree. Which is why, even though I do like the boost, actually, you know what? I'm going to put Palma at She's a Baddie, She's Showing Her Panty. Because I like the concept of the Pokemon. I like the information about them. These Pokemon are also thematic to the region, because the entire evolutionary line, Marmots are native to the Iberian Peninsula. So that's why part of the reason why I like them is because it's thematic. It's festive. It's festive. Tandem Mouse. Mousehold. Mousehold is giving concept, and I appreciate the concept. I will say that. But beyond that, I really don't have any thoughts, girl. I get the concept or whatever, but it's like, do we really need another Doug Trio? Do we really need another Magneton? Fido's cutesy or whatever. She a baddie with her baddie friend, though. I don't think that I really like using Fido. If I were to go and pick out like a random fairy type Pokemon to use in the generation, I wouldn't pick Fido. I like it. I get the concept. It's cutesy. Not my favorite. Doxbun. She ain't everything to me. I like a Doxbun. I think the Pokemon are cute overall. And I would have one on my team. And it's on the list of Pokemon that I'm going to be capturing for this Pretty Pink playthrough. But it's not the moment. especially when there are so many other strong contenders for the moment. Smoliv, cutesy, demure, mindful, thank you. Dolive is giving concept, girl. Dolive is giving concept. It's giving illusion. It's giving a moment. I get it. I really love to see it. Miss Arboliva, aka the Olive Wreath girly. I'm gonna put her as she get money her body tea because I genuinely enjoy Arboliva. I like the shiny. I like the concept of the whole evolutionary line. I love to see it. It's a unique Pokemon. Honestly, I would say that Arboliva is kind of giving the Gardevoir of the generation because it's very, like, you can only get Smoliv in like one area of the entire region, and it's not necessarily rare, but you're never going to see a Dolive or an Arboliva anywhere. So it's like, on top of the fact that these Pokemon are like a little bit rare to see because you have to actually put in the energy to train it prior to being able to like just boost it and make it what you want it to be after getting a bunch of rare candies and whatever at the end of the game. It's just good to see one. They're more of support players in the game, if I'm gonna be honest, but that doesn't take away from its overall value to me. What is this parrot thing called, girl? Squawkabilly. Okay, the way I said, what is it called? And Sam came in here out of left field and said, now Squawkabilly is this diva, especially the white shiny one. I do like the idea of a shiny Squawkabilly. I'm going to put her in the she ain't everything category. I don't see a Squawkabilly being something that I'm going to be running and jumping to use on a team, especially with the other flying types in the region. I like the idea of it. It could have, and I get the concept, not my favorite. Maybe if it was giving something more like a Oricorio, where the different variations were different typings, or, you know, they had different moves or different abilities, maybe it would be something a little bit more interesting to me. But for a collector's, just for it to be a collector's piece, not my favorite. It's a little boring. Knackley, local. I like the idea of Knackley. I just get tired of seeing them all the time. Knackle it's cute or whatever, but it ain't everything. Garganackle, now that girl. Wait, is it Garganackle and then Knackle? The big one, the big and tall one. I like that one the best. It's she a baddie, she's showing her panty. Because like it's just tea to me. I really enjoy seeing it. I think it's an interesting Pokemon. Similarly to Arboliva, you're not going to see one in the wild. So if you actually have one or you see somebody utilizing it, it's because they've trained it. And I think that's really interesting. Charcadet, she a baddie, we're her baddie friend. I like a little bit of Charcadet, but Charcadet's not a very good Pokemon overall on its own. It needs to evolve. And even then, with its evolution, the evolution is also not that great either. Armarouge is kind of like, I like the idea of Armarouge, and I would like to see more from Armarouge. I think the way that it's set up might be part of the problem, like its stats. Maybe they just didn't go in the right direction with it. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't looked at its stat build-up. I have tried to use Armarouge in the past, and it hasn't always been the best for me. You know, I started out with Pokemon Scarlet, so I had an Armarouge. Wasn't my favorite. Cerulege. Girl, Cerulege, she get money her body tea. That was like the prime shiny hunting girly for a long time on my team and on a lot of people's teams. It was Cerulege and Gallade. Those were the girls back in the day. Now it's a little bit different, but I really do enjoy Cerulege on top of the fact that I enjoy its naming. I enjoy the concept of it. And that's also true for Armarouge. It's just that Armarouge, it lacks so much in the battling department that I just don't care for it. And I agree with you, is that the complication when it comes to having to evolve it and having all these little things and trying to trade for the item, if the item was more available, even if it was just one item per game or one item prior to beating the Elite Four or something like that, even then it would be better than having to go and fight for your life to get the item to evolve any of these Pokemon. Although I will say, back when I was playing this game originally, I was in the Terra Rage trying to get me a Cerulege because it was better than Armarouge. Anyway, Tadbulb, she ain't everything. Whatever. It's cute. I get the concept. Not my tea. Belly Bolts. I'll play Belly Bolt at she about it. She's showing her panty because it's giving concept. Even if it's not my favorite concept, it's still giving concept. We love to see it. It's powerful. I bet it's useful. You know, belly bolts. The belly bolt that Iono uses is actually probably like a good example. Like that's not an easy Pokemon to take down if you're not prepared for it. Um, I'm not a noob though, so I'm prepared for everything low key. Wattrel, unfortunately, Wattrel is giving local, but not more than Kilowattrel. So Wattrel is going to be a she ain't everything, and Kilowattrel is going to be a local because you see Kilowattrel. If you've been around the block in Paldea, you've seen Kilowattrel everywhere, girl. If you haven't, then you've seen Wattrel probably a few times. What I don't like about Wattrel is the fact that it's hard to obtain unless you go to the beach, and you don't really get good access to go to the beaches a lot until like the middle of the game if you're going in order of the gyms, and if you're not exploring a lot, because you can't explore a lot until you have more abilities when you actually defeat the Titans. It's so complicated. I don't really like doing all that, so I didn't really have a Wattrel until like the middle of the game, the end of the game, which was disappointing to me because that's the local bird of the region. Based on how they're set up in the Pokédex, I guess the local bird would really be Squawkabilly. Either way, it's disappointing, especially considering that the local bird is normally like essential to a playthrough, and now it's been kind of like rendered useless. I don't care for that. I think there are certain things that I would like to see as staples and like staples in the gameplay, regardless. You know what I mean? Mastiff. Mastiff ain't everything to me. I get the concept, it's not my favorite. Mabostiff, she a baddie with her baddie friend. I like the story with Mabostiff, especially with Arvin. No spoilers. I like the story. I get it. I really enjoy the Pokemon. I think that this would have been a great Pokemon to actually have a branched evolution where there was one that was more bulky and one that was more lean. And the lean one was better for attack or speed, and the bulky one was better for defense or like special attack or something like that. Would have loved to see it. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Sam. These are just based on my personal opinions. I genuinely like the thing about it when I do these tier lists. I genuinely don't hate almost any Pokemon, and if I genuinely hate the Pokemon, it's going to be local immediately, and I'm going to tell you that I hate it. Trudel. Strudel is similar to Mastiff. It's just a little bit boring. I understand the concept. I think Strudel is actually another Pokemon that's thematic to the region. A lot of these Pokemon are thematic to the region when it comes to the local flora and fauna of the Iberian Peninsula. And for somebody who knows about that kind of stuff, to at least to a novice level, the Iberian Peninsula is a very interesting place in the world because it's the merging of there used to be a land bridge from North Africa to the Iberian Peninsula, if I'm not mistaken. And so there are a lot of animals there in that part of the world specifically that are unique to that region because it's the merging of Europe, the European continent, the Eurasian continental plate, and the African continental plate. So a lot of animals came from North Africa and to Eurasia and also vice versa, specifically through the Iberian Peninsula, with the only thing blocking them being the mountains on the other side of the Iberian Peninsula, on the other side of Spain, and that is what makes the animals there so unique. So a lot of the Pokemon in this region are based off of that you know occurrence happening, and that includes Shroodle, which is based off of the Iberian Shrew. Grafai I like Grafai. It's unique. It's a very unique Pokemon. Thank you, Sam, for acknowledging my truth while also speaking your own. Um, I like me a little bit of Grafai. Not my favorite though. I don't really use a lot of Grafai, but it's nice to see it. Bramblin local. Bramblegas. I'll give Bramblegas she a baddie with her baddie friend. I feel like Bramblegas would actually probably be a really good Pokemon if you were able to utilize it. But that's what I'm saying about there being so many Pokemon in this region, because there are so many Pokemon in this region. Even before you finish the game and you get to Area Zero and you get to see all the unique Pokemon that they bring in with the Paradox forms and all that stuff, it's still kind of like Bramblegas is not my first pick. It's cutesy though, and I get the concept. I think it's funny that they finally made a Pokemon um based off of what are those things called? Girl, out of not like I'm so out of it, girl. Honestly, the plant that those Pokemon are called tumbleweeds. Thank you so much, Francis. Also, hello, tumbleweeds. It's funny because it's like now we can make Pokemon memes where you know. Anyway. It's funny. It's funny. Bye, PJ. Thank you for coming. I agree with you, Sam. Toad School. Toad School is cool. Toad School's kind of boring. I like a little bit of Toad School. I like a little bit of Toad School. The shinies are really cool, but it's just boring, basic, local energy, but not without being boring, basic, or local. Because you're not gonna find Toad School everywhere. The funny thing to me about Toad School is one, it reminds me of Squidward, and two, when you see a Toad School, it starts sweating and runs away like you're like about to kill it. That shit cracks me up. Toad School is the opposite, and that also cracks me up. The way that they kind of stand around and they're kind of sassy, it's like I get it. It's so funny to me. Cloth. Cloth ain't everything to me, honestly. I get the concept and I think it's funny, but it's just not my favorite. I don't really like to see it all over the place. Like, it's a little awkward. I get the concept. I think Cloth should have had maybe a pre-evolution that would have made it more interesting. I think it could have been it's underdeveloped, and that's my thing with a lot of these Pokemon. I think that Tarantula is another good example of a Pokemon that's simply underdeveloped, or even Squawkabilly, underdeveloped. It's like it has a concept with its design, but the concept did not go all the way home for me, and I don't like to see it. Damsel said crab oil is all I see. Girl, well, we're gonna see another crab oil real soon. Capsicid, I like Capsicid. Capsicid is another Pokemon. You know, I've talked about nomenclature earlier in the stream, and I was talking about naming my Pokemon. Capsikids are named after capsaicids, which is another term for a bell pepper for those of us who are not in the world where they call them capsaicids. It's Evolution, which I cannot remember the name of right now. It's all right. Not my favorite. I like it. It's giving Gemini energy. I'll even give it a Shiabati with Shisho on her panty because I like the concept. It's not a very powerful energy to me. I'm being generous by putting it at the Shiabati Shisho on her panty. She would never be She Get Money Her Body Tea for me. Rellor. Rellor, she ain't everything. If Rellor was more common in the Pokemon world as it currently stands, it would be a local. Its evolution, now its evolution is almost given a She Get Money Her Body Tea, but it's getting a really, really high mark in the Shiabati She's Showing Her Painting category for me because I like the concept alone. I haven't even used these Pokemon. They're not really easy to like get around to using unless you know what you're doing and you really want one. But I love the idea of the Rabska enough that I'm going to put it in the A category. Now, a lot of people, a lot of girls would put Flittle in the local category, and I'll name them. But for the girlies who've known me since before I started streaming, you will know that Flittle is one of my favorites. So Flittle is Shiabati She's Showing Her Panty, and it's not just because you have to look under Flittle's skirt to shiny hunt it in the first place. Espathra, same energy. Shiabati She's Showing Her Panty. Espathra is actually a really good Pokemon. For those who were keeping up when I was doing the original Shiny Badge Quest in 2024, in the beginning of 2024, Espathra, Handkerchief was the main character in a lot of those moments prior to me giving up on that badge quest. And if I had continued with the badge quest, I only believe that Handkerchief would have been more essential to the team. Honestly. Tinkatink, easily. Tinkatink is Shiabati She's Showing Her Panty. And the only reason why Tinkatink doesn't go even higher is because Tinkatink has 2 evolutions and the evolutions carry her. Tinkatuff Easy, she get money her body T. Tinkaton, easy, she get money her body T. When you are going, because like when I play Scarlet and Violet, even though it's open world, and that means that a lot of Pokemon are easily and automatically available to you prior to you doing anything else in their game, which is not necessarily the full truth, considering that you have to level your Pokemon up to an unreasonable level to capture so many Pokemon if you don't go in the order of the gyms. Tinkatuff, heavy hitter. A heavy hitter, especially for it to be a fairy type Pokemon and for it to be a physical attacker almost exclusively. Heavy hitter. That's a very unique Pokemon. I love to see it. I love the lore. Tinkaton only takes that a step further. Tinkaton is so useful, so essential. The clearance that has. Girl, this is me like fucking queening out over fucking Tinkatuff and Tinkaton. I love those Pokemon. She is the sister that you always wanted. Girl, she is the mother you never fucking had. Girl, get into it. Anyway, Wiglet, boring. Wugtrio, also kind of boring. I would actually put Wugtrio as She a Baddie with Her Baddie Friend because I think it's interesting to look at, but I really don't have any thoughts on its typing. Why is Meganium mid? We can talk about that in the Discord. Ask me in the Discord, tag me and you asking me, and I will respond to you directly there. Because, girl, I don't want to get back into that. I hurt some feelings when I said what I said. Bombardier. Bombardier has a lot of tea. Bombardier is kind of like the local energy. Bombardier is the local energy of Delibird. It's cute in the moment and it's giving a concept, but girl, why did you do this to this bird? Honestly, quickly, why did you do this to this bird? For the rest of her life, she's going to have that sack on her chest. Whether she wants to carry rocks or not, she's always going to have that big old sack on her chest. Hate to see it. When it comes to Finizen and Palafin, I like Finizen in theory. And the only reason why Finizen wouldn't get higher is simple. Actually, you know what? I really like Finizen. I will honestly even put Finizen up here with She a Baddie, She showing her panty. And I will put Palafin up here with the She a Baddie, She showing her panty. But Palafin needs to be demoted because why the fuck does it look the same when it evolves? I hate that shit. I hate it. I get the concept. I understand it because you know what? And I keep saying I get the concept because like I don't need anybody to explain it to me. I know in depth why all these Pokemon look the way they do, and I've executed that very well with my extraneous knowledge on the topics. But why the fuck is it the same? Oh, period. Post that in the Discord too, V. I want to see. I want to see. The little fucking engine that could. She ain't everything. Her big sister. Honestly, she ain't everything. I hate to see those Pokemon come in. I know that they're like unique because they're poison and steel. Honestly, I really think they should have been steel and ghost. Don't at me. They're cute or whatever. I don't really like them. It's kind of boring. They're also like they're just not cute. I feel like if I have one in my playthrough and I use it, maybe I'll have a different feeling about it. I doubt that I'm gonna have one in my playthrough though, especially if I'm gonna be letting y'all vote on who gets to stay and who gets to go. Cyclizar, local. Orthworm, she ain't everything. No thoughts. This little thing, what is this called? Glimmet. Glimmet, she's a baddie with Her Baddie Friend. It's cutesy or whatever, but it's not a very strong Pokemon to my knowledge. And it's also not a very, like, detailed, it's not a very detailed design. I don't know what it's based off of exactly. I've seen people talk about it before, and I get it. If it wasn't so unique, I think I would like it less, but it's unique. Glamora. Now, I like me a little bit of Glamora, so she's a baddie. She's showing her panty. Great concept. Houndstone or whatever. Okay, because we have Houndstone and Houndstone. Houndstone is local. Houndstone, local. Hate to see them. Don't like to think about them. Don't like to see them. Don't want to see them on a team. They're ugly as hell to me. I don't like it. I don't like the concept. I don't love it. That's like Hound, and that's my thing. Houndstone is genuinely a Pokemon that I actually fully hate. I hate it. I don't like to see it in the wild. I don't like it shiny. I don't like to see trainers with it in the game. I don't like to think about it. I get the concept. It's not cute to me. If I was gonna build a team based off of ghost Pokemon that were thematic and that was like goth or spooky or any of that kind of stuff, I would never pick that Pokemon. Y'all had so many other dog type Pokemon in this region. Why did you pick that one? And why did you make that one? Honestly. Flamigo. Flamigo, she a baddie with her baddie friend. Flamigo is not a very powerful Pokemon. It's very unique. It's interesting. Glad to see it. You know, it doesn't have a unique typing. It's just a unique it's just a unique Pokemon when it comes to its design and concept overall. But what I will say is, honestly, Flamigo is going to go down to the she ain't everything category. And the only reason it's not a local is because you can't find it everywhere, although you can find it a lot of places. Flamigo, we have been waiting for a Flamingo Pokemon for decades. Decades. And now I'm airing out my grievances, girl. And this is what we get. A literal blue knot. Anyway. Satotl, cutesy, cutesy. Satotl is cutesy. She a baddie, she's showing her panty. Titan, she a baddie with her baddie friend. Titan is just a little bit scary looking to me. Not my favorite to see, honestly. Veluza, if y'all know me, y'all know that I hate Veluza. Veluza is a local. I actually really like shiny Veluza, though. And Veluza has some really good Pokemon cards. And I even like the concept of Veluza to a certain extent, but I hate to see it. Which is actually the same way that I feel about Dondozo. I like Dondozo. I actually even like Dondozo shiny because it's so funny looking. It's kind of goofy pop a little bit to me, but it's a local. Tatsugiri. Tatsugiri also ain't everything. It's giving me these different variants of Tatsugiri, but honestly, I don't care about the variants of Tatsugiri. What I would have liked to see is Tatsugiri having an evolution. What I would have liked to see is Tatsugiri having different typings for its variants, or different movesets for its variants. But it's an interesting concept overall, you know, but it's not a concept that I love. Can we create a category to put Veluza in and name it Ghetto? No, but if we did, Veluza would go in there, and so would Lokix, because Lokix is the Veluza of the land. Annihilate. I like a little bit of Annihilate. She's a 3-star Pokemon for me, but she's getting a really, really low she a baddie, she's showing her panty. The big whopper of Clodsire. And for the girls who know me, y'all would know very well why I do not fucking like this Pokemon in a lot of capacities, but it is so useful. It is so useful in the game that she cannot be placed lower than A tier because of its power alone. And you have to acknowledge that about that Pokemon specifically. And that's the other thing about Annihilate, is that in a lot of times when people have been talking about raids, everybody for a long time, when people were doing the raids and all the community online and everywhere, they would be like, I got my Annihilate, I got my Annihilate, I got my Annihilate. And that's part of the reason why Annihilate is A tier, because it's a powerful Pokemon. And the same is true for this fucking whopper of a Pokemon, aka Clodsire. Farigiraf evolution, or Farigiraf, aka Giraffurig's evolution. She a baddie with her baddie friend. Actually, I think this Pokemon has the potential to be really good. I really like it. I like the concept. It's fresh. It's unique. It's modern. It's similar to Flamigo. We've been waiting for this thing for decades. I like it. I like where they took it. I even like the shiny. It's just not a very strong contender to me. Similarly to Farigiraf, we also have Dunsparce. She a baddie with her baddie friend. It doesn't really seem like it's a very powerful Pokemon. I think it has unique moving. I think it has a unique move set. I've never used one. I really love the shiny. It's just not, because you get it so late in the game if you're even trying to get one, because like Dunsparce is never really easy to find unless you're actively searching it out. Like, you're not going to have a Dunsparce, so you're not really going to know what it's like until post-game. Good thing for us, we have a DLC. So if we get a Dunsparce, or if we get a Dunsparce, maybe we can have a Dunsparce. Maybe we can talk about it. Especially a big old pink one, girl, love it. I do like, however, the concept of it having like a third segment and being kind of rare. Like, come on, give us a little bit of concept. Hi Gooey, welcome in. King Gambit. King Gambit is giving concept. Honestly, the only reason that King Gambit is not giving She a Baddie, she's showing her panty, is simply because it's so like bulky. The design of it is so bulky. I don't even know if it's necessarily a bulky Pokemon. King Gambit is also another Pokemon similarly to Clodsire and similarly to Annihilate, which I think they did this on purpose. That's a very powerful Pokemon and it's great for Terra raids. That was a water break. Okay, now let's get into these paradox forms. Before we get into the paradox forms, I actually would like to do those last. Let's get into the Frigibax of it all. I like this Pokemon. I hate its design. It's kind of ugly. Arctibax or whatever it's called. This is cuter. I like it. She a baddie, we're her baddie friend. Baxcalibur girl. She ain't everything. This is like a genuinely a Pokemon that has disappointed me because I actually really like the pseudo legends normally, and I even get the concept of it being like frozen and all this other stuff, and the only reason that they're not local is because they're not easy to find. Like, and that's the thing, you would think in the overworld, you know, you think in your head, and I've even thought this before and I think it a lot, is that a lot of Pokemon are easy to capture, they're easy to find, they're easy to see, and it's simple, easy, whatever. It's just that Baxcalibur or whatever the hell it's called, it's just not my favorite. I get it, it's just boring. It's boring. Would love to have seen it. You know what I would have loved to see, especially because it's based so much on Godzilla and the concept of those kinds of mythological and also fantasy creatures. Would have loved to see Baxcalibur be the Pokemon that they pit against what is that thing called? The steel thing from Galar, whatever that one is called. I would have loved to see those two go against each other and those be pit against each other. I would have loved to see the starter version Frigibax. I would have loved to see it have a better design because right now when you look at it, it's just like, what the hell is this thing? We don't really have to get in too deep about Golden Go or its pre-evolution, which I cannot remember the name of for some reason. The little coin Pokemon, it's cutesy or whatever. It's giving local. It's giving local, and Golden Go, interestingly enough, she get money, her body tea. Period. Golden Go is giving she get money, her body tea, but whatever this little baby one is called. What the hell is this thing called? Gimme Ghoul. I like a little bit of Gimme Ghoul. Gimme Ghoul was cute. I actually had a Gimme Ghoul on my team when I first played Pokemon Scarlet, and I ended up evolving it, and I was so excited to evolve it because I had genuinely put in energy to have it in the first place. But Gimme Ghoul is a local. That's a local, girl. And they made it local on purpose, but it's a local. It is a local. I hate to see a Gimme Ghoul. I hate to battle one. I hate that you have to battle a bunch of Gimme Ghoul to evolve Golden Go. It's complicated. I hate it. Is that all the Pokemon that are not? Duraludon is the one I was talking about. I would love to see Duraludon and Baxcalibur being Pokemon that go against each other as opposed to Tyranitar. So let's talk a little bit about these Kitakami Pokemon. First of all, we have Diplin. I like Diplin. I would say Diplin she's a baddie, we're her baddie friend. To me, Diplin is a middle evolution. And you know, the leakers were telling us that it was the middle evolution almost upon release. Not my favorite Pokemon, to be honest. I kind of like the concept. I think it's cutesy, but it's not everything to me. Um Poltergeist, same energy. She a baddie with her baddie friend. I like Poltergeist in theory. And you know, I get that it's like supposed to be like a convergent evolution concept. I also like Sinistcha in theory. Sinistcha is a really good Pokemon. I believe it's a really good Pokemon. When you actually go through Kitakami and you have to battle the Sinistcha that belongs to Kieran's sister, what is her name? Girl, why am I not remembering nothing, girl? I need to eat some brain food. I need some brain power. Like, wake it up. Where come on, girl, wake it up. What is her name though? The diva? I don't remember her name. Hold on. Because that's gonna kill me. We could be fine. Don't waste your time. Carmine. Carmine has a Sinistcha that I love that Sinistcha. That's so tea. Pun intended. I really genuinely enjoyed the fact that she had one and that it was strong as fuck and hard to beat. She really ate with that. And that's why she about she's showing her panty, because they showed us just how strong that Pokemon is as long as it gets set up. We're gonna skip the legendaries and we're gonna go to Arcaludon. I like Arcaludon. I would actually say Arcaludon is giving Shiabati she's showing her panty. I wish that and honestly, if we had a Generation 5 remake like we really wanted, I wanted a Generation 5 remake really badly. And I was very disappointed when I found out that the only thing that we were going to be getting, especially and based up until this point that I know of, only thing that we were going to be getting is a Generation 6 remake or a Generation 6 reboot of some sort, and then a DLC where we're near Unova but not in Unova. I would have loved to see Arcaludon and any concept outside of that one instance. And I was highly, highly disappointed. But it's okay. I will move on. I think it's an interesting Pokemon. I also like the shiny. Then we have Hydrapple. Hydrapple, same energy. Love to see it. Glad to see it. I think it's really interesting that they had a branched evolutionary pattern with Applin already, and then they were like, let's take it a step further and give it a tertiary, a 3-stage evolution as part of a new branch of it. I thought that was so interesting. I wonder why they did that. I think possibly they might have done that simply because they wanted people who were playing, and I'm gonna be dead ass. They wanted people who were playing Pokemon Sword and Shield to also play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and so they added a few new evolutions from Pokemon that originated in that region. Hi, Pickled. The other Pokemon that we have are all legends now. So let's talk about them in order. We're gonna go through the paradox forms first, and then we're gonna talk about the legends. Um y'all are gonna have to help me with these fucking names for these fucking legends though, because I can already what is this one called? Great Tusk. Great Tusk is a great Pokemon. It's probably very powerful. I don't use it. I like the idea of it. I think it's cute. Honestly, I think that some of these Pokemon deserved to be branched evolutions or even a new evolution to some of the Pokemon that they were trying to build on in the first place, as opposed to being this like new special form. I like Great Tusk. Screamtail. Screamtail girl, Screamtail for me, she get money her body tea. If I could have a Screamtail at the beginning of the game, which I could, but I'm not going to, I would really enjoy having one. Honestly, it's a good Pokemon. What is this called? Brute Bonnet, boring. Love me a little bit of Fluttermane though. She a baddie, she's showing her panty for sure. And to move on to a similar Pokemon that I think is just okay, to be honest. What is this one called? The dinosaur version of somebody let me know what this Pokemon is called, and then when somebody tells me, I will get back to it. Sorry, I have to text somebody back. Slitherwing. I like Slitherwing. It's a cute concept. I don't like how it doesn't fly. I think it could be a powerful Pokemon. No, it's honestly, it's not really, I don't really have a lot of thoughts on it. This one called the Magnemite of it all. Which girl? Now I can't even remember what it's called. What is this Magnemite one called? Girl, I don't know. Anyway, she ain't everything. Honestly, the only reason she's not a local is because she's only in Area 0, so I never see her. Honestly, I don't even... Who cares? You know what I mean? Iron Treads. Iron Barbs. Isn't it called Iron Barbs or something like that? I don't care for it. Whatever it's called. Iron Treads. Iron Treads is boring. She ain't everything. Iron Santa Claus. Interesting. Iron Barbs. Girl, I don't know what the hell that thing is called. I like Iron Bundle to a certain extent. I like the shiny better. I'm sure that it's probably very useful in battle. I also don't care about it. So that's why it's she a baddie with her baddie friend, to be honest. This one is called Sandy Shocks, by the way. Iron Barbs, it's called Sandy Shocks. I still don't like it. If I saw more of it, I would probably consider it a local, especially because if we really want to get into it, I don't remember what I put Magneton as, but Magneton has a lot of local energy as well. Iron Bundle gives Cybercore in the best way possible. It does. Iron Hands. Interesting Pokemon. Similarly to some of these other ones, it gets a lot of points because it's very useful in Terra raids, and people can give it like interesting builds, and they can use it in Terra raids to get, you know, whatever they want out of the Terra raids. I think that's very important in this gameplay, especially when you're on the more technical side of the game and you're not just playing it to play it. Iron Jugulus, love the concept, love to see it, love the Pokemon that it's based off of. Honestly, one of my favorites. The only reason why I would not put it like at A tier is because I've never used one. That's it. It's a great idea. But what I don't like about it also though is that it's like Hydreigon was already so brutalist in concept. Iron Jugulus takes it so much further. I almost hate it, but I don't hate it. It's like one of those Pokemon that you just can't hate. You know what I mean? Iron Moth, boring. Iron Thorns. Boring. Actually, you know what? I lied. I like Iron Thorns. I like Iron Thorns. She a baddie with her baddie friend, for sure. To be exact, Sandy Shocks disturbs me, and I hardly even played Scarlet Violet. Well, not too much on Megazoid Iron Thorns. Ooh. Well, there you go. And now let's finish out with the others before we get into the rest. The paradoxes before we get into the legends. We have what is this? Roaring Moon. I like this Pokemon. I also don't like seeing it. So it's not one of my favorites, to be honest. I think it's an interesting Pokemon. Honestly, it would probably be very fun to shiny hunt. Not my favorite. Not gonna lie. Iron Valiant. She is the sister I always wanted. She is the Pokemon that I always wanted. Gardevoir and Gallade stand here. This is the bitch that I needed in my life. My favorite, probably my absolute favorite Paradox Pokemon. Definitely one of my favorite Pokemon from this region overall. Love to see Iron Valiant coming. Love to have one. Happy to see her. Happy to have her. It is what it is. Walking Wake. Interesting concept. She a baddie, she's showing her panty. Very interesting concept, I will say. Iron Leaves. Similar energy, but to a lesser extent. She a baddie with her baddie friend. Doesn't really stand very strong to me. But I also feel that way about Virizion as well, so... Next we have Gouging Fire. Boring, not gonna lie. Raging Bolt. She a baddie with her baddie friend. I like the concept. I like seeing it. I thought it was cutesy. Also, I feel like I saw Raging Bolt, interestingly enough, somebody was making Pokemon based off of the Pokemon that they had at the time, or that we already knew about at the time. And somebody had like posted like I don't know if it was a leak or if it was a specially designed. I could have swore though that I saw a design of Raging Bolt that somebody had made prior to knowing that Raging Bolt existed, and I loved it. And then when it came out, I was like, girl, I've seen this before. And I wasn't even keeping up with the leaks at the time. Exactly. I agree with you, Sam. The Iron Valiant, the parent that you are, they really did eat. Um, Now when it comes to these others, what are they called? Um, Iron Boulder, boring. Iron Crown, boring. And I like the Swords of Justice trio, aka quartet, but it's boring to me. I would have loved to see something a little different. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, and is that all the? And that's all of them. The only ones that we didn't address are the legends in this region, right? So let's talk about them first. Miraidon, Koraidon. Miraidon, girl, that's my dog. That is my dog. Koraidon, I mean. I think I said Miraidon. Koraidon, that's my dog. I love Koraidon. The only reason why Koraidon would not be so high on the list is because of the fact that when you're riding a Koraidon, it jerks your head around, girl, and it gives you a concussion. But with that being said, I also really like Miraidon as well. I think that both of them are very well designed Pokemon. They're interesting. I wish that if you were going to be walking around with one the whole time in the game, the least they could have done is let you use it a little bit more. But you do end up getting to use it when you want to use it, and I love to see that. Now let's talk about these legends, girl. The Treasures of Ruin. We'll just go in order. Wo-Chien. I like Wo-Chien. I don't like the fact that it's a fucking slug. I'm not gonna lie. She ain't everything for me. Chien Pao. Chien Pao is that girl. Y'all know Chien Pao is that girl. She a baddie. She's showing her panty. For real. Y'all know Chien Pao is that girl. There's not even a question about it. Ting Lu. What I remember when I was catching these Pokemon during the Pretty Pink Badge Quest, or not the Pretty Pink Badge, we're in the Pretty Pink Badge Quest. During the legendary Pokemon-a-thon, I remember Ting-Lu was one of the Pokemon that was really difficult to actually get. I think I liked Ting-Lu a lot more than I expected to like Ting-Lu when I simply saw its design. When I actually battled it, when I saw its Pokédex entry, when I experienced Ting-Lu, I really genuinely enjoyed Ting-Lu. Chi-Yu, Chi-Yu, she a baddie with her baddie friend. It's cutesy or whatever. It's just kind of like, why did y'all include this? Like, y'all could have had a trio here. Okie dokie. Check. Okie dokie is okay. She a baddie with her baddie friend. Monkey Dory. Boring. Pheasantipity. Now, Pheasantipity is that girl. Pheasantipity is that, okay, Pheasantipity is that very open, very out and proud queer person who has multiple straight friends who they happen to hang out more than anyone else. And Pheasantipity is still like very happy to be the queer friend of the group, even though it's also kind of giving a little bit of a queer pick me moment. They're happy to be the queer friend of the group, and I appreciate them for that shit. And they're still out and proud. You know what I mean? It's giving very much like I have to have these straight friends so that I can get along in society. But also at the same time, it's like, they're like, girl, you're wearing, it's like you're trying to get along in society, but girl, you're clearly assigned male at birth. You're wearing, and you don't get me started because I'll say some crazy shit, and I really don't want to get into that. I have thoughts, but I don't want to get into that. Ogerpon. Ogerpon is that girl. She get money her body tea. The different forms of Ogerpon, they're all right. If I were gonna rank them in order, I would actually say that the water one is cutesy. The fire one is powerful, but it's also cute. It's whatever. The rock one is kind of boring to me. Love Pink Ogerpon. She's just like a bad seed on the earth. Love Pink Ogerpon. She's just like a bad seed on this earth. I like Ogerpon, and I feel like a lot of people think that she's a bad seed on this earth, especially the people of Kitakami. So, what now? Terapagos, love the concept, cutesy, demure, mindful, love to see her, love the concept, love the coloration. For some reason, they included its terrestrialized form. I don't really care for the terrestrialized form very much. It's a lot to look at. It's a lot going on. It's a giant snow globe that they won't stop spinning. I really like Terapagos. I love the concept of it. What else would I say about it? It's cute. It's genuinely cute. If they were going to do a third version of this game as opposed to doing the 2 DLCs that they did do, Terapagos would be the Pokemon that they would base the third version off of, and I would love to have seen this Pokemon be a box legendary to the fullest extent, not just to a partial extent. I just love to see it. Love to see it, especially because it's so otherworldly yet also ethereal in its own sense. Like, it's just ugh. And last but not least, we have Pekka. I like Pekka. In theory, I like Pekka. I liked her better when she had her clothes on and she didn't show us her face. I liked Pekka better when it was before it was leaked. Or I mean, I liked Pekka better when it was leaked and it was just a concept and it wasn't something that we saw in person and we saw its face and we had to battle it and we had to see it. Pekka is a she's a baddie, we're her baddie friend. Now, these are my thoughts. If you would like to share your thoughts about this tier list or any of the other tier lists that I have done, you can go and find them yourself. I can post the links to them. I don't think I've ever posted the links to the ones that I've done. And you can share them in the Discord. I would love to see your thoughts, especially if you have thoughts that are different than mine. I know that I have a very unique perspective when it comes to Pokemon because I approach Pokemon from an aesthetic perspective, but also from a little bit of a technical perspective. I am also a shiny hunter. I also genuinely know a lot about natural sciences. So, of course, I'm going to be more in-depth knowledgeable about some of these concepts and about whether or not these are valuable concepts. With that being said, that's all I have for this stream today. I hope that you enjoyed the Pretty Pink presentation. I also hope that you enjoyed this tier list. I will be posting this in the Discord and pinning it in the Pokemon channel specifically. But if that's anything else, I mean, if that's all, I don't have anything else, and I will see you all very soon. Do not forget that on Friday, January 3rd, 2025, we will be starting the Pretty Pink Badge Quest with the Girlypop twist. You need to show up for it so that you will be able to vote out the Pokemon that you think does the worst in the battle against Katie, because we're going to go all the way up. Maybe we won't. Because we're going to be starting on, because we have to do all of the initiatory stuff first. So it might be a long stream. I don't know if we're going to get all the way up to a battle with Katie. What we might end up doing is doing like the intro to the game, because it takes a while. It takes about an hour of gameplay to get through all of that. And then to go on to we'll do the shiny hunting on Friday. And then we'll probably do the battle with Katie maybe at a different time. I haven't exactly figured it out. I will let you know. There's probably going to be some kind of new very specialized role in the Discord server as well that I'm going to be tagging you with or allowing you to sign up for if you would like it. I haven't set it up yet. I haven't made those plans concrete. Honestly, it's been a lot to even make the Pretty Pink presentation come to be. With that being said, I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.